It would be hard to dispute that one of the overriding tropes of canonical Caribbean writing from the 1950s onwards by both men and women has been the focus on childhood and the perspective of the child narrator, unquote. The same can be said for early African American women's fiction, and it is clear that this trend spilled over to Black British women's writing. And even when the narrative is about an adult, many of these novels are about a return to childhood through memory. As children are wont to be the centre of their universe, this means that other characters, including mothers and fathers, tend to exist only in relation to how the child experiences them, and are therefore rarely fully rounded, complex and realised. Judith Bryan's Bernard and the Cloth Monkey, published in 1999, is a case in point of a return to childhood. 22-year-old Anita returns home 2 years after her father's death, and we eventually learn that he sexually abused her from the age of 12, perhaps with her mother's tacit complicity, the wife he used to beat up. When the mother prepares to leave her family forever after one such beating, he shouts after her in full view of his teenage daughters, quote, "And good riddance, you frigid fucking bitch," unquote. Like The Unbelonging, here is another portrayal of a father who was a sexual predator. Several novels by Black British women writers were dealing with issues that were clearly important and they were burning to explore. Examples of absent or near absent fathers can be found in Sister Josephine by Joanna Trainer, about a mixed-race girl who was raised by white foster parents, suffers sexual abuse from an older white boy and doesn't know her father. Valerie Mason John's Borrowed Body is about a girl called Pauline who initially lives in a Barnardo's home and is also subject to sexual abuse by an older white boy before moving in with her Nigerian mother, who is so physically abusive, social services remove Pauline from her care. Jade by Millie Murray is about a teenage girl who lives with her mother and doesn't know her father. In Jenny MacLeod's Struck Up a Tree, the novel's focus is on a daughter returning home after the death of her mother and reliving her childhood memories of their mother-daughter relationship. In Imagine This, which was a self-published novel, which, interestingly, won the Commonwealth First Novel Award by Sade Adeniran, 9-year-old Lola is abandoned by her mother and father, fostered in Britain, and eventually sent to live with relatives in Nigeria who abuse her. Vanessa Walters' novel, Rude Girls, is about 3 young women, one of whom is supported by her father, who was a drug dealer, and another is a single mother. The novel features estates, drugs, criminals, violence, lowlifes, and, unsurprisingly, the novel's male figures are generally unseemly and unsavoury. Leonie Ross's first novel, All the Blood is Red, is about the lives and friendship between 3 young black women and a 4th woman from Jamaica. One of the women is raped by a black serial rapist, and the women witness other black men closing ranks. Jeanette loses her job in television because she spurns the advances of her black male boss. Mavis, a disembodied voice in the novel, leaves Jamaica because her partner and pimp is going to send her young daughters into prostitution as soon as he considers them old enough. She ends up a cleaner in Brixton. Diana Evans's first novel, 26A, is the semi-autobiographical account of growing up with her twin sister in a mixed-race English-Nigerian family in North London in the 1970s and 1980s, and briefly in Nigeria. The novel is about the twins coming of age and their divergent paths as adults. The white English father is present, but a domineering patriarch. Although many of these debut novels are about young women, some first and certainly subsequent novels prove the exceptions. Diana Evans's second novel, The Wonder, is about Anthony and Lucas, father and son, the narrative tracking their lives separately between the 1950s, 60s and 1990s. Anthony is a dancer and commitment-phobic partner to Lucas's mother, Carla. He comes and goes as he pleases and disappears before Lucas is born. Lucas seems to be paralysed by not having known his father. He is a drifter, does volunteer work, smokes weed, and lives with his responsible, hard-working sister on a West London narrowboat. He misses the father he's never known and gets to know Riley, a white elderly journalist who knew his father. As their acquaintance develops, so too does the slightest hint of a homosexual subtext that remains undeveloped. Donna Daley Clark's only novel, Lazy Eye, 2005, is about a black boy growing up in the 1970s. His father, one of England's first black professional footballers, murders his wife, the boy's mother.